Good afternoon. This is Jim Whitehead. I want to thank you very much for being here. We're going to talk a lot about some of the things related to animal rescue that, in essence, goes beyond our understanding of what is happening in the world. Today, we're going to talk about the Sheldrick Wildlife Trust. Now, what's interesting about this is, as you probably have learned a little bit from some of my presentations and other creators, that elephants are wonderful, they're smart, they're kind, they're good parents, they're good children. But what happens is, and this is the tragedy of life that really bothers me, of course, but if they lose their mother when they're a baby, they could very well not survive because the mother teaches them everything. It's a good mother. It's not a mother that says, okay, I'm done, bye. No. They stay for many, many days and years to really make sure that their children are doing well and they learn everything they need to learn. So this Sheldrick facility has it where when unfortunately a baby elephant is orphaned, and could be poachers and other things I hate to say, but what they do is they take them in. Now, the big thing that's important is that when they get these little babies, they're saying, "Where's my mom? Where's my mom? This is terrible." They have what we call mothers, and again, as I said, the poor little infants are heartbroken because their mother is lost, and I think most of us would feel the same way if we were born and we got up a little bit of age and we lost our mother. It would be definitely devastating. But with their infancy and their need to learn, they're going to probably die because they just don't know what to do. They're sad, heartbroken, etc., etc. So they have these mothers that the you know that are with the babies, and so they build trusts, and it employs specialized keepers, like we're saying, who act as surrogate mothers. These keepers sleep in the stables with calves every night on bunk beds, ensuring the babies never feel alone. Now, I know I'm a terrible sleeper, and who knows, maybe if I had baby elephants with me, I'd probably sleep well. But the point is, these wonderful people, and that's why it's so nice doing the Animal Channel and actually the Coffee Channel. But when you sometimes get a little discouraged about the way the world is, all you have to do is hopefully listen to me or listen to my presentations, and you'll see how and why I love doing animals. And it's not just the animals, it's the people that help animals. So I guess you might call it a win-win situation. Now, so the baby elephants can start to grow up. They've lost their mother's milk because the mother is no longer there. And again, It's not like, well, okay, I'll just go to the supermarket and get a gallon of low fat. I mean, whatever. Now, this wonderful lady that you're seeing, and she is the founder of the facility. This is called, and it's a famous milk formula. And for 28 years, the founder, Dame Daphne Sheldrick, experimented with different milk combinations to find a formula that baby elephants could actually digest. Before her discovery, orphaned milk dependent elephants almost always died in captivity. So you can see, if we all say we've got to do something and it's going to be extremely important, we have to know that if she didn't find this food or the right milk combination, they would have had it where these baby elephants were coming to a facility and they could very well not survive because, again, they grow up to some point with their mother's milk until they get to a point where the mom says, okay, now I'm going to show you what other things you can eat. But if the mom's gone, they've got to have somebody that takes their place. So the people sleep with the babies so they know someone is there. And then they have the right type of milk that the baby elephants can thrive on. Anyway, when they get to a graduation process, there's a lot of things. And this isn't where, again, it takes a day or so. It takes much longer. The rescue isn't just a sanctuary. It's a decades long, and that's what I'm trying to point out, wilding project. So, in other words, it takes years. And, the baby, and even now growing up because they have the proper food, the baby still has to be trained and watched. So and once the orphans are old enough, they move from the Nairobi nursery to a reintegration unit in Tsavo National Park. They spend years. Now there you can see that's the park. It's open. And basically they have those buildings where, again, they house the elephants and continue working with their transition back into the wild, eventually joining wild herds. Now, the pajama party, there you're seeing is they're dressed in pajamas. The pajama party, you often see the youngest orphans wearing custom-made blankets or pajamas. And I know you'd say, wow, that's got to be a pretty big pajama. So, because baby elephants have thin skin and are vulnerable to cold, especially without a mother's body heat, these blankets, as you can see, these relatively young elephants have blankets on. And the blankets keep them warm and protected from the sun. So, it only makes them look cool, but it also serves a purpose to keep them safe and warm and so on and so forth. Now, these wonderful people that have it where they devote their whole life to taking care of these animals. Now, one of the fun activities they have at this additional park are what they call mud baths. And you can see a very good picture. They have them for 1 hour a day. The impact the trust has successfully raised over 300 orphans, and incredibly, and this is a short one today. It's not very long at all, but the neat thing, and this is a parting neat thing, many of the graduates now living in the wild return to the sanctuary units to show off their own wild born babies to their former human keepers, a testament to a lifelong bond and memory of these animals. So I hope you enjoyed it. It's short, but my goal is, because there's thousands and thousands of rescue facilities around the world. But what I look for, and I'm even again being pleasantly surprised, and the last 2 or 3 I've done are not even in the United States. And I did a Christmas for one in Georgia, but we had one that they have it where the animals are in the facility. The gates are left open, and the occupant animal, whenever they feel, in other words, the caregivers don't say, okay, it's time for you to move on and get out and be on your own. No, they in essence leave the doors or the gates open. And if you look at my last one, it was where you see a antelope that finally got to a point where he said, I think I'm ready, so I'm going to move on. And you see him right at the gate, and he's made the decision, I'm ready, I'm going to go. So he basically leaves that other facility. But anyway, I want to thank you very, very much. I want to wish you a very happy new year. And, I have 2 channels. You're seeing them on the screen if you've stayed to the end. And thank you so much. And also, subscriptions help. I don't like to bug people, but we really appreciate it. I have 2 channels. This one is called Phoenix Animal. All Power Group is my company. And the other one, and of course, Phoenix Animal is all about animals. And that's my main, how would you say, presentations. But I also have another channel called Power Coffee News. The neat thing when you are a creator and you're working for yourself, you can choose the things you want to do. You don't have to say, well, gee, they told me I have to do this or that. No, you do what you want to do, and you have fun. And what I've said probably every time I do a presentation, you have it where you do things that you enjoy to do. You learn things, and that's the big thing and the point. As much as I've loved animals for my whole life, I'm 76, I'm now at a point where, you look at and you say, I have this wonderful opportunity to do what I want to do. So I chose animals, and I don't do very many that are sad because I don't want sad animal issues myself. I won't watch one. I only watch, on YouTube, if I see an animal that they say, this is how let's say the dog looked, and, A, B, C, D to the end, they're wonderful, they're happy, So in other words, the point I'm saying is we like stories that have happy endings. And with the babies, yes, they lost their mom, mommy elephant, but they get linked up with two facilities that have it where they, I don't want to say they get it along without their mother, but they have done such a good job on replacing everything they can that the elephant grows to be a wonderful elephant in the elephant community. Anyway, thank you. Happy New Year. And please take care. Thanks again.